Alright everyone, tonight we're going to look at how we name type 1 ionic compounds. If you recall from yesterday's lecture, we learned about ionic compounds and the fact that they contain a bond between a cation and an anion, and they're held together by those mysterious electrostatic forces because opposite charges attract. We also know now that an ionic bond is a bond that occurs between a metal and a nonmetal, and the electrons get transferred. There are two types of ionic compounds that we're going to investigate, type 1 and type 2. Tonight's lecture is about type 1 compounds. The two rules for naming ionic compounds that are type 1 binary compounds are the cation gets the element name and the anion has the element stem plus the IDE ending. Now binary means two. So this technically means that we're only going to have two different elements, one metal, one a nonmetal. Make sure you write the rules down. I have 3 examples for you. Make sure you copy all 3 examples down in your notebook. The first example is NaCl. In order to name this, we name the cation the element name, and the anion has the stem of the element name and then the IDE ending. So let's take a look at how we would do this. Na is the symbol for sodium, so we're going to call this compound sodium. The anion name is chlorine. Now we're not allowed to use chlorine, so we're going to use the stem of chlorine, which would be chlor. And then we're going to add IDE. So NaCl is sodium chloride. For our second example, we have Sr3P2. I chose this one because of the numbers. Those subscripts indicate how many of the atoms are interlocked or bonded together to form this compound. However, they don't play a part in the naming of an ionic compound. So if we look at Sr, Sr is the symbol for strontium, and it is the metal or the cation, so we just name it the element name, strontium. P is phosphorus. This one's kind of tricky. You want to say, let me write phosphorus down real quick. Well, you probably want to go with just cutting off this part of the ending and call it phosphide. That's probably the best bet, and that's what we're going to do. So we have strontium phosphide. The third example is CS2S. Again, the subscripts make no difference in the naming of a type 1 binary ionic compound. So CS stands for cesium. And the rule is that the cation gets the element name. S stands for sulfur. So when we look at sulfur, we have to cut off the end. So we're going to cut off the UR, and we're going to add IDE. So this is sulfide. So to recap, NaCl is sodium chloride. Sr3P2 is strontium phosphide. And CS2S is cesium sulfide. This is how you write the names of type 1 binary compounds that are ionic. Have a great evening.